Ladies and gentlemen, the Adult Baby Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 112. I am B.
I'm Chic.
And I'm Chris.
I think Chris forgot who he is, but we do have a very special guest today.
We sure do.
Second guest, heartthrob of Long Island, Lou Vecchio.
What's up, guys?
He is the heartthrob of Long Island.
I mean, that's a pretty good title, actually. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Since
guys.
you're
like
a drummer, we should call you the Heartbeat. No, you're the
heartbeat,
heartthrob.
Yes.
the heartbeat. I mean,
Yeah, I guess
heartthrob. It's the same, pulsating.
Yeah, it's the same thing. How you
These
doing,
all
buddy?
gotta try and outdo me.
Sorry, it's in my nature.
It is. But the drummer, New Politics, of longtime friend and Farmingdale alumni, Lou Vecchio, and we are excited to have you, bud.
I'm excited to be here, dude. Always a pleasure to hang with you guys. Chris, this is the first time for us. It's a pleasure to hang with you as well.
That's
Pleasure.
right. You were up with Taylor last time.
Yeah, you did
Right.
back-to-back episodes with them, like the 2 episodes before I was on for the first time, and they were so
Yeah.
good.
It was fun. We had a good time. I brought over Prosecco and we hung out.
I was just gonna say that was the first time I drank on the show, and I got a little loose. It felt good.
And what's going on
Good.
tonight? Check.
And we thought we were gonna do the same tonight. I figured Lou had brought up. He's like, "Why don't we do like a happy hour edition?" And I was like, "That's a great idea," because Lou's the only one who gets me to drink. And so I'm gonna take a shot of Grey Goose starting now. Every
Right.
about 10 minutes.
Right.
I'm going to set my alarm,
I
and
like to hear that.
we'll see how drunk
love
I
that.
get at the end of this.
I can't wait. He's going to talk a lot. I know he's going to talk a lot. He's going to be happy. See, Chick, the funny thing about Chick is there's people that are angry drunks. Chick's a happy drunk. He's good to be around.
But he's
Like,
angry,
he
too,
is.
so I don't get it.
He's angry and normal in life. Yeah, it's something.
It is. I
So
really am.
the alcohol's a good thing then. It's an
In
equalizer.
his case, it is. It kind of mellows him out, I think. And then, because I remember last time you brought the Prosecco, and we were drinking that, and I was like in the morning or not
It
morning.
was in the middle of the
but, like,
day.
Yeah,
It was
it was
middle
like
of the day.
early afternoon. Yeah.
Early afternoon, and Chick was like, "I'm gonna do it," and he was the nicest he ever.
God.
There he goes.
Good
All right,
shot.
Chick.
Number 1.
Line him up and suck him down, baby.
Happy
All right,
hour.
boy.
Cheers,
For the
guys.
first one, salud, Chintana, and let's hope we don't die in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All There it goes.
All right. So the 10-minute countdown, I'm going to make it 12 minutes.
The first one. You need another 2 minutes on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next,
Chick, tell the
So when we
people
hit
what
my
my
alarm-
glass says, man.
oh, that's right. I did. My shot glass says, "Don't tease me if you can't please me." And to all you ladies, that is true.
To all you ladies, that is
To all
true.
you ladies.
Oh man. So Lou, how you dealing with this quarantine?
Man, I'm kind of dealing with it, I guess, the same way as everybody.
Yeah.
At first, it was kind of, at first when it, like, I think like everyone, when it first like became a real thing, it was like, oh, cool, whatever. I'll fuck off for a couple of days. Fuck off for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like a little home vacation. I'll get drunk, whatever, hang out. Bake bread and shit. That's what it's like. You do all the shit. But then now it's like, what are we, like 60, almost to like 60 days or some shit that we've been? How long have we been in?
A while.
It's
about
been
that much,
started the first week in March, maybe. So we're almost done with April. So yeah, probably around 50, 55, 60 days.
Yes, it's fucking crazy, man.
Lou, are
It's
you
just a-
local still, or are you in a different state?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in New York.
Cool. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're more locked down than we are.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's scary just to walk outside and like the city is just Brooklyn. There's always people.
Yeah.
It's dead now, man. It's like that was the thing that was weird at first, like seeing that. I don't leave my house. Me and my wife, we would go out. We'd be out.
I was going to say
at a
you're locked
restaurant
down
till
with
2,
your
3 in the
wife,
morning.
right?
Yeah, we're here. And thank God she can. She still works remote, so at least
Good.
one of us is in the real life. I'm fucking,
I was just gonna
musicians, we'd be in
say
big trouble. Yeah.
it's got for you because your whole job is in crowds. So this is
Yeah.
probably gonna linger for someone like you probably longer than it would for even some of us with a little more normal jobs, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, it's scary. It's definitely scary. I mean, technology is allowing, you're seeing a lot of like bands and artists doing the streaming, format of things where, like a lot of people are tuning in to see them play on Twitch or formats like Zoom and stuff. So people are, we're trying to adapt to that. But yeah, I mean, the live music industry has taken a massive hit from this, and a lot of people are saying like this is 2020 is a wash for live events in general.
Hey, right?
Yeah.
It's almost a year
scary.
without work now. Now, you guys going to be able to do any sort of recordings? Like, are you working on anything? I don't even know how you guys would go about it, but are you trying to do any?
Yeah, it's funny you ask that because a lot of it's all new to us. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing now is remote. Kind of writing the same kind of situation as this. We'll be writing with each other, sending stuff back and forth, ideas. And luckily we all have a setup where it's pretty basic, but we have setup where, I can program drums, an idea or something on like a little MIDI on a little keyboard right here, like in my little studio in Brooklyn.
That's cool.
Send it and they can write around that, and we vice versa and stuff like that. Also, I just started this week going to because I got rid of I had like a drum room in Brooklyn. I got rid of that during all this.
You did videos from your drums, like in your little drum studio?
In the past, yeah, but I moved everything to my parents' basement now, which is like, that's the recent stuff that you've been seeing, which is crazy because my father just has like, it's so funny, like the backdrop changed so much. It's just like all this Beatles shit all over the place.
Your dad's a musician too, right?
Yeah, he's a drummer. He plays drums.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I remember that last time.
Yeah, so all my stuff is there right now, and I've been going there slowly. I can just walk into the garage, so I don't have to, see them.
Right.
Isn't it crazy how much like precautions we have to go through just to go to your parents' house to play in your drum set?
Dude, it's insane, man. And that's honestly like that's the hardest part is you want to just like say, you want to say hello and just be normal, but you really, right, you can't. And it's not really even for us or for me. It's more for, I feel like I still got to go grocery shopping there. I would be, God forbid, not going devastated if I brought anything into like their house,
Exactly. I agree totally, because I'm doing it with my parents now that they're home, and now we're not seeing my nephews and stuff anymore and my brother, but I'm with my parents, and every time I go out, I'm like, stay away from me. Let me clean up before we even come near each other.
It's such a crazy thing. My sister, I talked about it on the podcast, but my sister had a baby during quarantine, and I still haven't met the baby. Shit. Yeah, we're doing like window visits. So it's been about
congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been about like a little over 14 days. So we're hoping, it's starting to ease up. So we're hoping to maybe to meet her soon. But it's
B doesn't even feel like the baby's part of his family yet.
Well, all right. I'll here's the thing, Lou. I haven't met. I met the baby through a window, like at a jail cell, So like, I need to hold the baby to actually feel something. So I'm just looking at pictures. It's weird. It's a different situation, Obi, for everyone.
It's definitely a very odd thing, and I feel like nobody could have been prepared for this. No matter.
No way, man.
It's fucking crazy. It's a wild time to be us right now, to be alive and to be through this. But I'm hoping that something good, something good has to come out. I mean,
something always does.
Something.
The best thing is good social distancing, and I think just the overall hygiene of people, you would like to think will be better going forward, and people won't be in your personal space. That's kind of because I hate society. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to, is that like you're too close, man.
Learning to wash their hands now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is a little nuts that people. I mean, Chick, I bust your balls, but you're a very clean person.
Yeah,
I
but I've always been OCD to a
you
fault.
have.
Though.
Like I feel like the more nervous you are about stuff, you're OCD with that. So, but everybody
Yeah.
should get on board with that. Everybody should have a little hint of OCD after this nightmare.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
And
So did you
absolutely.
have plans, Lou? Did you have plans to tour, or did this mess up any touring
I was
schedule?
gonna say your
gonna
your
ask
new
that
album just
because-
came out in what, November?
Yeah, it came out in November, or maybe, yeah, I think it was November, early November.
Which, by the way,
yeah, we
great.
had,
My
Thanks,
only
man. Thank
complaint
you.
is I wish it was a little longer.
yeah, I think we all wanted that.
No, is
but
that,
yeah,
I was curious. Is that because that people don't do albums front to back as much anymore? That you don't need to put out an album with 15 songs. You put like 5 or 6 on it, or whatever it may be.
yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of it's budget. You know, there's not a lot of time, a lot of money to be in big expensive studios anymore. The labels and stuff have cut back a lot on stuff like that. But really for us this time, it's a lot of the writing came from, we were already kind of writing remote as it was, because David, one of us is in LA, the other one's in Nashville, I'm here. So we kind of like had to figure out a way to get it in and out of that. So a lot of it came from that. You're on a time, basically, you have a date, where it's going to happen. There's only so many times where, your label is, or whoever is going to be like, okay, yeah, push it back,
Yeah.
before they're like, no, you got to put the shit out. So,
All right.
but, sometimes shorter is,
Well,
short and
it was
sweet.
good because it's short and sweet, and it was very good. There was no songs that I listened to that I didn't really like. I mean, my 2 favorites, I think, were Therapy and what was it, Wish You Well?
Yeah.
Those are my 2 personal favorites. You guys remind me of like a new age Weezer. I don't know if you've ever got, but you have like a Weezer vibe to me, but it's like a new age with like more electronic sound to it.
Yeah, we loved. We're all influenced heavily with like '90s grunge rock and
Yeah.
So Weezer, Nirvana, anything like that, and like also like a very huge hip hop influence with me and David. That's
there you go.
You guys know, coming
Just
from
say that's
that's smart. No, you can't help it. So that comes from a lot from me and David. Soren is the rock, like real rock dude.
And Soren's the blonde.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's also like very, very heavily into like the pop melodic choruses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Choruses. So
no, have a unique sound. I love it, man. I really do. I mean,
thank you. I appreciate that.
I wouldn't praise you if I didn't like it. I just would be like, oh, it's a new album or whatever. But I genuinely do enjoy listening to it, and it's very positive and upbeat, and that's kind of what I like. I feel like when we were growing up,
that's all about your personality, positive and upbeat.
I'm not really a positive person. That's why it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. But like most of the music I grew up listening to is depressing. I mean, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. I mean, all the emo bands are fucking. My girlfriend left me, and I hate my life.
Right.
It's not very positive music. It's good music, just not as positive. And I kind of like your sound and the vibe from it.
Yeah, so we try to keep it upbeat, as much as we can, like that.
So did you have to cancel touring, or did you get some in before?
We got a few shows in. We got a few like these little radio shows kind of, and we did a small tour up until through the release, like right after Christmas.
Okay.
And then we were supposed to go out. Well, not supposed to go out. We didn't announce it yet, but we were going on a tour, in talks of a tour for June and over the summer. Also talks about we were going to go back to Europe last month. So all that stuff got postponed, and not even postponed. Pretty much Europe is canceled.
Just canceled.
We still have stuff on the books for August, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like they're slowly just like pushing things out,
Yeah, live performances are going to be the last to come back, I think.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, realistically, you're probably the least important as far as society is concerned in that regards.
Well,
so that you'll
not even just like the least important, but like the least able to exist and still social distance.
Right.
Like
you
what's
can't cram, I mean, on an arena level, you can't cram, 18,000 people or whatever it is, to 10,000 people into an arena and screaming and spearing beer at each other. And, you just can't.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that your alarm?
It's time for a shot.
All right.
Oh,
Shot number
we go.
2.
Oh, he takes a hit beforehand too. Look at him.
Yeah, I've been looking forward.
Yeah.
Chico's gonna be fucked up, but it's a beautiful thing. But so you guys, I feel like it's not gonna be until probably 2021 where you can
Yeah.
actually tour. But it's weird because you don't want to tour in a social distancing atmosphere because I feel like
No.
it would take the fun out of. It's like playing a game of basketball or something with no crowd.
Right. Yeah.
Loses all the emotion
The
and
energy, you
Yeah.
feed off the energy of the crowd. It's
yeah.
gonna be, it's strange. I mean, I don't know. I got booked on. I got an email from a guy. He booked me on a show. Cheers, Tom. Chick.
Cheers.
Salud, Chintana.
We're gonna have to hear his whole to do every shot. But I got an email this week from a guy that booked me. He's booking me on a Zoom comedy show next Friday night.
But how
Yeah.
does
See,
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
awkward. I don't know,
it's
and I don't know much details. He's setting up it's a paid gig, so I'm gonna get paid, and
That's
I
cool.
don't know.
pretty cool?
I don't know who else is on the show, and I'm on next Thursday night. We're gonna do like a test run of it, but I've tried to do comedy through the Zoom, and it does not work. So a show.
But how are you gonna have guests? Is it gonna? I don't even know how
the
that.
people.
it's,
The
it's
people
gonna
come
be,
in and see.
Yeah, so I think it's
Okay.
gonna be it looks like maybe 3 or 4 comics, and then this guy just had knee surgery. He booked me on a show in New Jersey a couple years ago. Nice guy, and he reached out. He had knee surgery, and he's looking to do a comedy show with his family. And I was like, I'm in no position to say no. I'm like, whatever. I know it's gonna be a disaster, but like this is the new way of of getting gigs. Like I'm gonna
That's
do it
it.
on here.
Yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's
I
we.
wonder-
I was just talking to someone about getting booked on like people are like, I guess venues are putting together like virtual tours essentially. So like you'd be booked on like 5 and everyone be recording in their own places, but the background would say, Knitting Factory,
Right.
Brooklyn or whatever. And I guess they're paying artists and comedian, anyone who can book
Yeah.
out, so which is crazy to think about because it's like I would just be here playing drums, and like
You
doing
can't. How do
streams.
you rock out to that? Like, how do you? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
you're gonna do it anyway, but like, you can't feed into a crowd. Like, there's no.
No,
I don't-
and especially for like especially for a band like mine, which is so New Politics, which is so crowd oriented and so
Right.
so based on the interaction of everyone that's at the show. It's going to be definitely going to be a learning a curve of whatever. I don't know, but I think you're right, man. I think that's going to be the new future right now for stuff like that.
And you're gonna have to learn how to do it that way because
Yeah.
it's totally changing the way. I mean, you guys. I don't know. I don't.
It's gonna be survival of the fittest. It's gonna be who can adapt, keep their
Right.
fan, and go forward with the new way
Right.
of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna have a lot to do
becomes
with
a
your fan
thing.
base.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you think
If you have a
becomes
young
thing
fan
where,
base, that,
like
Sorry,
like the
Chris.
Knitting Factory, say, has like almost like AOL Sessions used to be, like where they'll have a band like yours come in and actually play the Knitting Factory and then live stream it to YouTube or whatever?
Yeah, I hope so. That would be a great idea.
That's
That'd be
not
pretty
bad.
cool. You
Yeah,
know?
So
I guess I'd have to make
full
sure that
audience?
it wouldn't be an audience. It would just be like a recorded. And AOL used to do that. I remember that, and that was really cool. I used
Yeah,
to love
AOL
watching
Sessions
it.
were cool.
Yeah, I guess you just have to make sure the band and the crew guys, whoever's there working, everyone has to be safe and not sick,
Right.
for whatever. Or I guess also too, if you're at the right studio, everyone can be secluded. You don't necessarily need to be in the same room.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, it's so awkward how it's gonna be. Dude.
Yeah.
is because like
It's
Yeah,
very
imagine
weird.
you can't even vibe off of you're a drummer and like the bassist and the drummer go together. So in my opinion, like how do you play off of the bassist when you're not even in the same fucking stage? I mean, I know you could hear it, but like I get it.
Normally, I mean, you're right. You're 1,000% right. I have a leg up in that only because my band, we don't have a bass player. We have we played like a program situation.
You know what? I didn't even think about.
Yeah, I'm used to that, but it sucks. I argue with David and Soren all the time. Like, we got to add somebody. We need a bass player. We need a bass player.
Well, you're a
I've been saying that
percussionist. Of course, you want to add the bass guy.
It's fucking. I miss that low end all the time. But yeah, dude. Even if you don't have, it's like anything else, man. Even like my Emily, my wife. She says, at first it was great for her to be home and like I could work from home, but you miss, even though you don't miss the people, like necessarily maybe they're like
you need social interaction.
You need to like get that motion of getting on the train every morning and going to work and getting that cup of coffee. Like when that's gone, completely gone, that has to mess with people. That has to mess with you a little bit. And
it gives you a purpose. And like it almost gives you to get up every day. It's now you really have to force yourself to get up and be productive every day, or at least give yourself something to do if you don't have a job. But like you said, if you have a job, it's still a major it's a huge change to how you were running your life, living your life before that. So like it ran its course. It was fun in the beginning, and that all sucked out of it real quick.
Yeah, the novelty is gone.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody kind of feels that way. It's weird. And also on top of that, the weather in New York. If you're in New York, the weather's been awful.
Terrible.
I mean, today was nice. We're recording here on what was it, Tuesday?
Tuesday, and I think the next nice day is going to be like Sunday.
Oh, really?
Right,
It's supposed to be bad the next few days? I don't even know.
Rain until Sunday.
So on top of all this, like we have not had nice weather. I mean, it's few and far between the days that you're even. It's nice to go out and walk around the block. But
what have you been doing in Brooklyn? See, we're in Long Island. I feel like at least we can go out, even though I don't recommend doing it. You could go out and kind of stay away from people. When you're in a borough like that, it's like, do you even have like parks to go to?
They closed, all the parks are closed now, so you can't even. We were in the beginning. We were going and like walk into Macri Park, not Macri Park, the little park by us. We would sit and just hang out in the park, but people were being, fucking idiots, and they were picnicking in the middle of grass and shit and having like drinks and stuff, and no one, you really can't. They kind of ruined it for everyone that just needed to get out. No, and so they ended up shutting all the parks down. So now we go out. We went to my sister's place on Long Island on Saturday for the first time because they've been quarantined for the whole time too.
Okay.
So we went there, we hung out, we stayed the night. That was the first like interaction we've had since the Saturday before they shut anything down. With the exception of me going to my parents every now and then, but I don't really converse and talk to him. So it was
exactly.
Like, it was wild, man. I mean, there's really not much to do. We hang out here at the apartment and we'll find shit to do. We've like cooked so many things that we'll probably never cook. It's like, it's.
Are you experimenting with cooking? Are you trying new stuff? Because Chris, you were cooking, so
yeah, I was cooking a bunch. I've slowed down a little bit, but this week I made fried rice, so that was cool.
Nice.
Homemade rice.
Lou, what are you tapping into these days?
Oh my God, dude! I made a loaf of peasant bread the last week. Like it looked like fucking bread out of like Aladdin, like what he eats.
That sounds amazing.
Literally, it was great. It's good. My wife is she's working on a sourdough starter that's gonna make sourdough bread.
I'm thinking about your sourdough.
Your guy, man.
Yeah, I did some sourdough. I got into the whole sourdough starter. I kept it alive for a few months and then it died. But dude, that's a job. Like you got to feed it every day.
Right. Exactly. That's why I'm not taking care of it.
Yeah.
I can't.
But let me tell you something. When you get that first loaf of sourdough bread out of the oven, oh my God, it's delicious. It's
I
perfect.
can't wait.
B,
Yeah,
have you
food.
made another sourdough since?
No, I only made. No, man, it's a lot of work. I
Yeah,
thought
it
about.
is.
There's a thing I found online called beer bread where you just like it's easy. Like you mix like a flour and some kind of
My aunt used to make that. It's really good.
yeah, and it's just like beer. It's a real
Yeah.
easy recipe. So
So
I think I might do that next.
Nice.
Speaking of that, my friend started making like a homebrew beer.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And I
nice.
guess like he won't be able to try it for like a month or something. Like it takes a while.
Yeah.
But he told me like what he got, and I'm thinking about getting the stuff to try doing one too. It's like $80.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
it's
why
good.
not?
something to
Look
do.
at that.
And then
You guys all
try-
love making all this stuff. I'm not into like things from scratch like that. But who's the better cook in your household right now, Lou? You or your wife?
Ooh,
That's a
It's
tough
a
question.
split.
You better hope
that's
she
a
doesn't
tough
listen.
question. Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass beat later on.
The fact that you didn't automatically say her, I already know it's you.
upset. No,
Yeah,
upset.
exactly. It is. It's already him. We know it.
Because you're like, should I say it's me?
Should I
Yeah.
say it?
Should I?
Well,
Do you
we
want
cook-
the
we
honest
cook-
answer? Or do you want me to tell you what I should say?
We cook different things. I cook very Italian inspired stuff like from my family. And she's from Chicago and she cooks very, but I have to say that she's fucking like, she's latched on to my mom's like recipe for sauce
Okay.
now and stuff. So we're both pretty even in the cooking field. I have to say when it comes
That's
to
a good
baking stuff,
answer.
That's
throw
good.
shit all over me with baking. She's like insane baker. Like I
See,
can't even.
that's the perfect situation. You guys each have your own talents. You both bring something to the table.
Right. And like I said, now I'm drinking fucking Aperol spritzes. Like that's the next thing now. Now we've gotten into like, cocktail making.
Yes. You gotta keep dude, I have tried so many stuff. I bought a kit to do knitting. I did knitting. I'm going back. I found my old
Wait for the sweater, but yeah.
sketchbooks. Now I'm sketching in charcoal at night. Like I'm just
Nice.
doing it. I'm trying to do anything.
Finding.
Just do something, you know?
You know what
Yeah.
I did today, because it was a beautiful day that I haven't done myself in a really long time, was
Walk.
I fucking I washed my own car instead of bringing it to the car wash.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Interior and everything. Outside, inside. I had the upholstery I cleaned. I vacuumed. I did all my windows. I did the outside of the car. This is something I would never do, but I don't trust people inside my vehicle now to clean it.
Well,
And it needed a
perfect. It's perfect timing you cleaned your car because after your fourth shot, you're gonna throw up in it tonight. So
I set the third shot for 14 minutes.
so you keep
Oh,
going
you're
up. Remember?
changing
You're
that.
postponing.
It started
No,
with
go back to it. I'm at 3 minutes.
started with every 10 minutes. Now then it was every 12. Now it's every 14.
In 3 minutes, and then I'll go to every 10 after that. I'll get it back up. I need. I
Oh,
couldn't.
all right.
I'm thinking
I'm
about
not forcing you to drink.
I
shots
can't be
of
doing
regular.
8-9 shots in fucking an hour and 20 minutes
No,
right now.
we don't.
It's
Listen,
just-
God forbid something happens to you and you have to go to the hospital. I don't want to be a part of it. Oh man,
Oh.
Terrible.
how you feeling though over there, Chick? Are you
No,
feeling
I feel great with this joint, a couple shots. I'm feeling
But you're
fantastic.
mixing, and you don't drink much.
I don't drink much, but I have a pretty good tolerance considering I'm a fat guy. And for whatever reason, I don't overdo it. When I've
Can't
always
argue that.
I've managed to figure out how to drink without throwing. Well, I shouldn't say without throwing up, because I do throw up occasionally. But at B's sister's wedding, I threw up all over the room in the house that we all rented.
Oh, that's right.
That was a great night. I was drinking those drinks you get in Fire Island, the rocket fuels.
The rocket fuels. Let me tell you something.
yeah.
Hey, what's
That is a
rocket?
dangerous drink, man. That's
I
not
must-
something.
10 rocket fuels. I projectile vomited all over the room.
What the
It
hell
was
is a
awful.
rocket fuel?
All right, so if you're not familiar with a rocket fuel, anywhere in Fire Island, you go. That's like the drink of Fire Island. It's basically like a what's that coconut drink?
It's like
The
a
pina
pina
colada?
colada.
Pina colada. It's basically that, but on top they pour like a pool of 151 rum on it on
Yeah.
top of it. And
It's
a little-
dangerous because it tastes
it-
so
yeah.
good.
It tastes delicious,
Jesus.
and it's during the summertime, and you can have if you don't know what's gonna happen, if you're not like used to it, it will knock you on your ass.
I mean, that's a summer beverage for sure, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
great
It's a
night,
beach
great
drink.
time until I went back to bed and I was laying down and I was like, oh, this isn't good. I
That's
couldn't even make it to the bathroom.
Stop spinning.
The rocket fuels,
terrible.
and everybody drinks them out there. So anywhere you go, it's like that's where the special is. It's like, let me get 6 rocket fuels. I have never gone out in Fire Island without starting my night with a rocket fuel. And
No.
you start out your night in the bag. After drink 1, you're in the bag.
It's
beautiful,
setting
you
up
know?
for disaster. Yeah. That's it.
Your sister's wedding was just so much fun, though.
It was fun. My sister got married in Fire Island. We rented out a bar out there, and yeah, man, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people had I think had your same experience, drinking too much off the.
Oh,
There it is.
there it is.
Oh, is that the
The vodka alarm.
Oh my
The
god!
There it is.
It's Grey Goose o'clock.
When was the
Grey
last
Goose
time you think you
o'clock.
drank, Chick?
What?
Chick, are you playing poker tonight, Chick?
Yes, I am.
Oh, he's gonna lose all his
shit.
money.
Now I might have to be. Now I'm gonna get in. I have to get in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Next
gonna
money's
yeah.
gonna go.
Lou's like, wow, I'm gonna take his money for sure. Well, that's the other thing. This is why I saw Lou. This is kind of how this. Not that I mean, I was always intending on asking Lou to come on the show again, but I know he's busy and stuff. And then I saw him on live Instagram with his fans, and I felt the need to chime in because I have a big mouth. And that's when we started talking. And then after that is how he got me in a card club. He got me. He got to come back on the show now, and now he's got me drinking. So Lou is a terrible influence. But salud, Chintana B.
Cheers, baby.
Mm.
Beer,
What beer are you drinking, Brendan?
Growler?
Oh, wow.
This oh, it's a Allagash White.
Okay,
It's
that's good.
yeah, it's
Allagash
you know,
White is pretty
simple.
good.
I was able
What
to
did we
order it.
drink? We're on the show. What was that again?
What's that?
When Lou was on the show.
Oh, what did I get? Cupcake Prosecco is what it's
Cupcake
called.
Prosecco.
That
The-
drink was fantastic.
The brand was Cupcake. Yeah, it's good. It's called Prosecco. So it's little history on Prosecco and Champagne. I don't know if you guys know this, but Champagne. The reason why they only would call it Champagne is because it's made in France. It's Champagne, certain area in France.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecco is made in Italy, so they can't call it Champagne, but it's basically Champagne.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I got you.
Which is fucking useless information, but I just figured I'd throw that out there.
Very vital information.
Good info.
It's the
You're
same.
you're like a connoisseur.
It's almost the same as like whiskey or what is it? Was it that if Kentucky or bourbon?
Bourbon, yeah.
Yeah.
Bourbon that can only
Bourbon.
be
Or
bourbon
Scotch,
if
like Scotch can only be from Scotland.
yeah.
Right. And I think bourbon I think is a Kentucky thing, right?
Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah.
And then whiskey I don't really know. I know, but I know that bourbon's definitely Kentucky. I can't drink dark shit anymore like that, man. It just doesn't agree with me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I was just
I have
gonna
a
say,
hard time
what's
drinking
your-
that as well.
What's your go-to cocktails? Like if you're gonna hang around the house, what do you like to drink? And if you're going and you want to get sauced up, what are you drinking?
At the house, we drink a lot of wine. I've turned into a wino in the last couple of years, just because
Okay.
I love
just
wine
goes-
is delicious.
Yeah.
I've been hitting the wine bottles too this quarantine.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a nice, smooth. I feel like also with wine, I feel like I can control the buzz more than I can. Like if I'm just slamming shots of Grey Goose in the car.
Exactly.
So like
Slamming Grey Goose in a Nissan Sentra. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, in theory, even though I'm not driving, if a cop happened to drive by and just want to bust my balls, I would get a DWI.
Oh my God. I almost want to call the cops to your house just for the content.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I wish I knew a cop available that I could just call up and be like, yo, just give him a
go over and
breathalyzer.
fuck with them, please.
Oh, I know a cop.
Oh, I know.
Shit.
He says.
Yeah. So wine is I enjoy a good wine too, man.
Yeah.
Lou, when this whole thing's end, we're going out and we're
Wait,
drinking, man.
B. I'm waiting.
Oh,
Hold
please.
that thought.
Oh, hell
What's
yeah.
your go-to drink when you're getting sauce, though?
Well, when I'm like out and trying to get fucked up, like trashed,
Yeah.
what do I drink normally? I usually go with the clear stuff. So tequila, I'll do tequila soda, or I like gin. I'm a gin guy, but gin is I'm usually a happy drunk, but gin is the only alcohol for some reason that if it hits me the wrong way, I'm an asshole to be around. You don't want to be like it just
I
depends on
can't picture that, dude.
I can't picture you being that way. What do you
Gin
do?
just I don't know. I've just
Do you
heard
start
some
playing the
stories.
bongos with people's skulls? What happens when you get angry?
You are one of
Take
the
other
nicest
people's
people
hands.
I can't picture you being an angry drunk at all.
I think it comes more from my wife telling me like, you were
Yeah.
argumentative this night. This
Okay.
night
Yeah.
you're a
That
little bit
makes
more
more-
argumentative. Yeah,
That makes more
Which-
sense.
I could see that happening. But gin, I mean, for a long time, all I drank was gin and tonics. That was like Tangerine tonics, back in, yeah. But yeah, that's what I do. If I'm looking to get trash, it's definitely tequila or gin. That's what I'm going.
So you're not like a beer drinker, though, because you're a big beer drinker, right?
Well, yeah. So here's my thing is I like Guinness when I go out, but it's got to be the right place. I go to a lot of places where, I got a lot of dive bars, in the East Village, and I don't trust their
Yeah.
taps. So I'm like, give me a
Right.
bottle of whatever. My problem is if I drink any kind of liquor, I just get too drunk. Like I need a nice, like you were saying with wine, like a happy medium buzz. I'm good
Right.
like
well, you
that.
could,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And beer, I can contain myself. I'm good. But I've had nights where, like if I recently started drinking a little bit of bourbon, I got a bottle, before this
Mhm.
whole quarantine thing. And I've been on like Sunday nights. I like make myself a drink with, the big ice cubes. And I
Nice.
can feel if I have a cup, I only do one, but if I have my night like this where I start with a couple of these, the night can go south real fast. Because
Right.
I can be an angry, I don't know what
Hey, I don't get the whole angry drunk thing for one reason. One,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because I'm an angry person technically on a regular basis, but when I drink, like you're getting fucked up. There's no like have a good time. Like
I
that's
know.
my thing.
Yeah.
When I'm drinking, I'm like the only reason why I'm drinking is to get loose and be like have fun. No
Right.
part
That's
wants
fair.
to get
That's
fucked
fair.
up and be angry.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
So
a lot of it, I
like-
never get angry towards other people. It's always like I just become like a jerk to people that if I'm in a relationship, like that's where I same stuff like that. It's weird. I
I
don't.
feel
Yeah.
like
You
women,
just
like
direct
Very
it.
rare though.
your
My friends and I
significant
used
other
to
in
do, like,
general always gets the brunt of your bullshit. That's just how. That's the point of significant other, right? Like,
Yeah. When in a bad night like that, that's where it's going. Like shots are being fired, and that's it.
Exactly.
You know,
Direct
that's
that.
it. Yeah. It's like,
'Cause
where else are you gonna go?
that's it. A lot of times they're the only ones to project onto.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna get it. I'm sorry, and you see
Yeah.
them all. Yeah, and they're the
You're
best.
gonna
You
get
find the
it,
right one, they're the perfect. But
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Right. Whether you're right or wrong, that's a whole nother
Oh.
conversation.
Right.
I was just gonna say it has nothing to do with being right. It's just a matter of.
It's just
where it's going.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, like I've always been a happy drunk. I'm more of an angry sober person,
right.
which I guess is odd or different. I don't really know. I mean, maybe if I drank more often, I would have more angry drunk moments. But because I do it so rare that I'm always in a good mood when I'm drinking.
I'm shocked you're such an angry sober person though, because you smoke a lot of weed.
Well, I'm not that angry. I mean, most people who know me, I'm a pretty nice guy. It's just when I don't like something, I'm very vocal about it.
Yeah, he's very
No,
opinionated.
like you're a nice guy, but you have like a tick sometimes. Like if something gets under your skin, you're like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
but I can't help it. I can't help that. That's why, I mean, 90% of the time I'm nice, but that 10% that I'm not, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Chris, we never got to you. What's your drink of choice when you're going out?
if I'm going out, I just stick to beer.
But you and your girl, when you're drinking at home, do wine or?
Yeah. I like. I'm really into red wine, and she's also really into red wine, and it's perfect because you get like a bottle, and you can coast out the night with like a bottle of wine. You know, like.
Dude, I drank a bottle of wine to the face last night.
Literally was just gonna say the exact same thing.
You can like. I mean, you can definitely go deep, but like you can, have some with dinner and then just have a little bit more, and you're like good and comfortable.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about like the next day or anything like that.
That's true.
Right.
Cool. But you can go deep on wine too.
I can't
totally.
drink beer. Beer makes me bloated, and I don't even get drunk off of beer.
Why I like beer when you're going out though? Because actually 2 reasons. One, like when I go out with my friends, they do like shots and stuff like that, and I try to stay away from that. I feel like mixed drinks, you can never tell how it's going to hit you because it depends on the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
And especially going somewhere like Nutty Irishman or something like that, like what are you getting in that drink? At least when you get a Miller Lite or whatever, it's a Miller Lite.
Yeah,
Like,
that's where I stand too.
Yeah.
I hear you, but because I don't like beer, one, I don't love the taste. It gets me bloated. I need a lot more to even feel.
No. It's all it's the 8 gallons of Sunkist you drink during the day that gets you bloated.
Yeah,
It's not the one beer you have every
beer.
3
I
months.
could go there on an empty stomach, and I just can't drink a lot of beer. So I prefer to get my buzz quickly and without like hard alcohol. That's my if I'm gonna drink, my preferred drink is Tito's and some sort of mixer. Right now, I don't have Tito's and I don't have a mixer, so I was just doing shots. I figured, fuck it.
Okay.
That's the quickest way.
Shots
Right
are the easiest to me because if you can get down the shot and not throw up after the shot, you're good.
Yeah.
Here's my thing though with shots. If I'm out in a social situation at a bar, I like to have a drink to hold on to. I get into a conversation. I'm like, really? And then.
And you know what? That's another thing. That's a good point. That's another thing I have with mixed drinks. They're delicious. So it's like, you like a gin and tonic, say, like a well-made gin and tonic. I'm sucking that down in 3 seconds.
Yeah, drinking real fast.
Done.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, like, if I'm trying not to get fucked up at a bar, I'll order a beer first. Like, I'll go with beer because I have to drink it slower because I get really bloated. Like Chick was saying, I'll get bloated fast, and then it's not fun.
Gross.
It's the reason why wine, I also think it's a good vibe, even if you're like, if you're going, because you could eat a good meal with wine. I feel weird ordering a cocktail. Like if I'm sitting down and having like a plate of pasta, like I don't know if I can.
No, that's
have like a gin.
I get you there.
I agree. Very hard to eat and drink with beer.
He's also Italian. Most of the times he's eating, it's probably pasta, and wine goes great with pasta.
It's very true. Look, if you're having a burger or some shit, hot dogs, then a fucking race fan beer, Coors Light goes perfect with that. You can't.
That's
you're not wrong.
When I drink beer, the only beer that I don't despise is Coors Light, which is like fucking water.
Water, yeah, you could drink 10,000 of those, and it's like,
it's like my beer of choice when I go out because you can drink 10,000 of those.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I also don't like drinking to the point where I am a disaster where I can't remember what I did. I'm not a big fan of being out of control of me.
Yeah. Right.
I never understood people like that.
Well, I think the reason for that is most people, they drink to like step away from their lives, and your whole life is sort of out of control. So you can't, like, that's stepping away from, your ordinary life.
I get it. I agree. Maybe that's it.
That could be.
That could be it. I think you might have nailed it.
Yeah, probably not.
Sounds right.
I got 3 minutes left before my next one.
Ooh, that's 4. That'll be 4 already.
I think so. Yeah. That's about 4 an hour.
It's not even.
Are you feeling it though? You like what? How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel good right now. I got my joints coming in.
I know you keep saying that, but like, are you getting drunk?
I'm not drunk yet, but I feel good. I feel nice.
Okay.
I'm upping it to 10. This is 10 minutes. I think I did it on. I don't even remember.
I mean, that's crazy, man. You're knocking them back with joints and that. That's a
Dude,
good.
if I was doing a shot every 10 to 14 minutes, whatever you're doing, I would be in bad shape right now.
Well, to be fair, it's not like I've been doing this and I'm going to continue it for hours. It's going to be.
You're right.
Right, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I lost my tolerance for weed. I can't smoke anymore. I used to smoke a lot, in high school and stuff, but I can't do it.
I found that most people who smoke and either stopped for a little bit or cut down, that they'll never be able to smoke how they used to because it gets you so fucked up now.
Mm-hmm.
Just so much better.
I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I could. I'm envious of my friends and people like yourself, like that I know that can function on a like normal level, but be internally fucking stoned. Like that must be such a great feeling.
It is a great feeling.
One of my biggest disappointments is I can't smoke a joint anymore. I can't do it.
Today, I'll explain what I did today. I smoked a joint. I drove to Robert Moses and Captree today. I smoked a joint on the way there, a joint on the way back. On the way back, I couldn't wait to get home because I was so in my head that, like, I'm going to get home and clean the shit out of my car. I threw on my headphones and I fucking cleaned the shit out of my car. I was high as a kite and it felt great. Today was a great day.
How do you drive like that, though, man? I don't feel like I could drive high. I think I'd be way too nervous.
Well, it's not something I really, really advocate. But in my personal experience, I took driver's ed high as a kite. I learned how to drive.
You've been training from a young age.
Yeah.
I've been smoking my whole life to where I could honestly say it does not affect me at all when I'm driving.
Can I ask you a question, Chick? Do you remember the first time you ever smoked?
Yes. I was smoking a corn pipe outside of one of my best friend's house with one of my other great friends. And we were lighting it outside of I'll never forget it. It was freezing out. And we were outside by his pool in the backyard. And we were just like smoking it. And then we got so high that they wouldn't let us into the house. And then because we stunk. But no, it gets better.
The first time you ever smoked pot, were you nervous to try it? Like
no, I wasn't nervous to try it. I was
your friends had already been smoking. Like the way you say that is like you guys have been doing it forever.
Well, not that we've been doing it. It's that time. It's not that they were doing it forever. It's a couple of them have tried it before me. So a few of them have tried it. Okay. And then I'll never forget, Tyson was fighting that night. And we went to my other friend's house.
Damn, dude,
and he tells me before I get in, just go in and don't talk.
Was this that last Tyson fight that was on pay-per-view?
Figure it was in 9th grade. So that's what, 98?
Yep. Okay.
It wasn't the whole. That's not the whole.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that fight I'm thinking of.
Yeah. No, I think it might have been the fight against the fucking white dude right after he got out of jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what it was.
It might have been that fight. But my buddy, before I get in the house, he tells me, don't touch anything. Don't talk to my father. Just, like, shut up and watch the fight. And I'm like,
did you have a problem smoking it, or did you adapted to it right away? It
was hard smoking it because we were hitting a corn pipe. And
corn
it was
pop. Yeah, corn cob.
That was hard to light the fucking light.
Yeah.
When you say corn pipe, you mean like one of those like the
they look like it's like a cork fucking. It looks like a cork ball piece.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Anna smokes out of a corn cob pipe?
Dude, I've never seen this before.
This is way before your time, bro. The balls evolved much more.
Yeah.
The next step would have been smoking it out of a soda can with a fucking pen in the fucking thing with the
liter bottle.
But we smoke, and then I go into his house, and I'll never forget. I tell him, like, listen, dude, I got to go to the bathroom. He's like, you know where it is. I go into the bathroom. I can't turn the faucet off after I wash my hands because I was turning my hand, but I wasn't turning the faucet.
Oh, my God.
So I walk back into the room, and you hear the sink going on in the background. And I look at him, and I'm like, yo, dude. And he looks at me. He's like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm having an issue with your sink. He walks me to his sink. He goes over it and he just shuts it off. And he goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just sit back down and shut up. And then I went back in there and I shut up. That was my first like getting high, smoking pot experience.
Wow. And did you know, like, from that moment after you couldn't get the sink to shut off, did you know, like, this is going to be a part of me for the rest of my life?
No, I didn't. Can I tell you it's funny because I started smoking in 9th grade and we smoked like whenever you could get it. In 10th grade, I got suspended for a month and a half for smoking pot I think it was October of that year. In that time period where I was suspended for a month and a half and I wasn't allowed out of my house, I wasn't allowed to do anything. My parents had me on complete lockdown.
Yeah.
When I got back, my friends were full on potheads. I felt like.
Okay.
Like I feel like
all right.
those
Yeah.
two,
like overnight.
well, yeah, like those 2 months went from we sparingly smoked pot. I got in trouble. When I came back, everybody was getting high all the time. And then that is when I started like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
evolution. It's just the
and then-
evolution.
Yeah, the rest was history, bro. I fucking I was just a raging pothead, and I found my niche because I never liked drinking, and my parents would always expect me to be drinking. So when they came home, it was more of a breathalyzer than a fucking let me see if you're stoned.
Oh,
So I
you
got
were
away
fine.
with it for a little bit, and then occasionally they'd be like, "Why are your eyes red?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it was a windy night. My contacts are bothering me."
It was windy. Oh, man.
My brother used to laugh at me all the time, like the fucking wind. I go, "Shut up, bro."
It's perfect. It's perfect, though.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Contacts
man.
are the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't like to drink, so it was always easier to smoke. And it was easier to get weed, to be honest, than it was to get alcohol when you were underage.
Alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the weed
I agree.
sucks.
I mean, even now in the quarantine, it's probably easier to get fucking weed than it is toilet paper.
But like,
Probably.
but like back then, did the weed suck? Because I remember the first few times I smoked weed, it sucked.
When we smoked weed, I mean, they could probably all vouch for this. It was basically regs. You could get Kind Bud, which was a little
Yeah.
better than regs, but not really like hydro. And then the other stuff was hydro and purple haze, but that was rare in
Right.
between. It was
Sounds
mostly
like a big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was.
That was a big thing. I remember when we were, in high school, everybody was, blunts were like the big thing.
Yeah.
That's what, everybody was smoking blunts. So a blunt of like the good shit, like hydro, like
Yeah.
anything, we were fucked up, dude.
You
Like,
were smashed for
seriously.
6
No.
hours. We're fucking
Yeah.
done. I'll never
Right.
forget B's brother-in-law took a bong rip when we were at somewhere, and we actually had good pot for once. And he took a bong rip and passed out in like a parking lot that we were hanging out in. And all these other people, we asked these 2 other kids who were like, weren't really hanging out with us a lot. And we're like, dude, you want to hit this? And they were like, fuck no, not after that. They watched him fucking pass out from
Fall
it.
asleep. Yeah, man.
But those were, I mean, it wasn't good back in the day, and they didn't have all these strains and these name brands. And if they did, it wasn't for us. Like we really got shitty, pretty shitty fucking weed.
All right.
Yeah.
Just the regular old stuff. Oh, I kind of wish I had some. Like I feel like that's the way I would go about it. If I were to smoke.
Oh wait, I forgot. I gotta take my shot. You guys didn't remind me.
Oh, did you set a new
Oh
alarm?
yeah.
Yeah, I set my alarm. It went off while I was telling that story.
I actually changed my drink. You guys made me go to wine now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very
What
nice.
kind of
Yeah.
wine you got?
I'm actually
kind
like
of
out
wine
of
is
here.
This is
Grab one.
this is a Malbec that
Love it.
Emily just poured for me, which is it's on the heavier side, but I could do it right now.
I like
Does
them.
Emily enjoy having you home, and vice versa? Do you enjoy having your wife home constantly?
Yeah, I think it's good for the most part. There are definitely times now where I can see, she'll never admit this, but there's definitely times where it's like, Jesus Christ, like we need a little bit
Of
'cause
space,
she's
right?
she's on the phone during the day a lot with work and stuff, and me, like, I'm just the asshole that's like, I'm trying to get a game of Call of Duty and with my friends, and I'm screaming, I'm like, I'm screaming in the background, like, go for the Pokeball, whatever. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't work out sometimes. But I mean, honestly, thank God it's been, you hear horror stories about people being locked in together now, but it's been really good. We haven't no arguments, no.
Well, that's
So
good. You guys
it
are
was-
also newlywed, so you're still in that honeymoon stage. So it's probably nice.
right.
You know? Well,
Yeah, that was the one thing that sucked. That was we were talking about tour cancellations. We had our
salute,
honeymoon
boys.
booked. Cheers, guys. Cheers. We had our honeymoon booked for like the first week or second week when this whole shit got locked down, and we were going back the next day. So we had to cancel all that shit, which was that sucked. That hurt. That was a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely.
But it's like it's you got to look at it, and I don't hate to be like this, but it could always be worse, and that's
it's true. It can.
Yeah.
I mean, there are worse
we
things
could
than
always
being
go.
stuck in your house.
Exactly. You could be fucking stuck with somebody that you absolutely hate, and then what do you do?
Yeah.
Or you could not.
That's so true.
Or you could be stuck with, what if things were worse? What if you don't have a home? What if you don't? What if, there's a lot of people going through some serious shit.
I was
right
just
now,
gonna say there's a lot of people who are worse off than us at this. It seems us. I mean, not that we're all going through it, and it sucks for everybody.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, it could always be. Anything could really always be worse as long as you have your health and your family and you got something to work with. Is the way I look at it.
Right.
How many relationships are failing because of quarantine? Like,
I think relationships are going through that point where it's make or break time right now.
Make or
It's
break,
like,
right?
Yeah.
If we come out of this, let's fucking get married or get me the fuck away from you.
Dude, I don't know if
It's
it's true,
possible.
but I read something from China that like the second they lifted quarantine in like Wuhan, the divorce rate spiked or something like that. Like
I would imagine it would.
Yeah.
It's got to.
Yeah. It's you. I mean, if you find out a lot about me and Emily lived together for almost 7 years already.
Right.
So it's like, but if you're newly moved, like just moved in with somebody and all of a sudden now you're fucking forced to live with this person and figure that out, like that's a test of tests right there. Like
It's a
It
test.
really is.
Yeah.
It's a test,
that's
man.
crazy.
Some of these people are they're stuck and they're learning that I don't
I
want to
would
spend
love-
any time with this person.
I would pay
Right.
to be fly on the wall on any relationship where let's say you moved in with each other March 1st and then quarantine started and it's like, fuck. I can't even go out. I can't even get away to go out with my boys. She
No.
can't go out with her
Yeah.
friends.
Can't
Like, you
for
can't even go to
fucking-
your
for a
family's
walk.
house, man.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. That's rough, and that's exactly what I mean by it could always be worse.
It
Yeah.
could. At least you're with, your wife and you. Think about if you're in a bad relationship, right? That's say you're married and you were already thinking about getting a divorce.
oh, and now you're stuck.
And now you're stuck. They said I was just listening to something. I listened to this podcast called Sword and Scale, and it's a true crime podcast.
Yeah, it's
pretty
a great
pretty
podcast.
fucking intense. Yeah, it's great. But they just had like a COVID crimes thing it was called, and all this, like, they say that the domestic violence like rates have been fucking skyrocketing through the roof. Like,
Yeah.
like burglaries are down and shit, and robberies are down, but like domestic violence is up. That's
All
fucking
people who
sad,
take
man.
Yeah, all these people who take their shit lives out on like the
That
public and
sucks.
rob and steal are now just sitting
Yeah.
home beating their wives.
That really sucks.
I mean, that's horrible.
You can't.
It's horrible, but like that's what's happening.
You can't get a break. Like, yeah, things are good. Like, the environment's looking good. There's no robberies, but people are beating the shit out of each other in there.
Right.
That's awful.
Yeah.
My God.
This is
terrible,
a tough couple months for the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Oh man, it's bad. It's definitely rough.
There's some guy who got caught up in that shit, and he's like, "Oh, now you're stuck home with me. You shouldn't have went to that rally."
Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell are you? All right, we need to stop these shots.
Speaking from experience here, he's like,
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get
you
a
should
little
have
loose.
gone to that rally, Susie.
Whatever comes up, we might have to do this podcast for another 40 minutes just because I'm really starting to feel good right now. And it might be next time we want to drink, we might have to start getting me going way before the show starts because I feel fantastic right now. And I already apologize for whatever's going to come out of my mouth the next 20 minutes.
I love it.
If that was perfect, man.
All right, buddy.
Fucking great. Oh man, that was good. That got me.
Yeah.
But am I wrong? No, I mean, think about it.
Listen,
You're
No,
home,
yeah.
your wife was at the
Unfortunately,
rally,
you're
and you're
probably
like,
not.
fuck this bitch. You're stuck with me now.
Now you're in.
Cops don't even
Now-
want to go.
What now is it?
Cops aren't really enforcing anything because they don't even want to go into the house
No,
because they might have
that's-
COVID.
It was crazy.
That's
So
terrifying too.
I work on like Main Street in Massapequa, right? And there's just people outside on the benches on like our main road, just drinking, just like beer in hand, just getting drunk.
oh, really?
Like, a couple of the bars are open and they're just serving it out the window.
The world is over, bro. There's
So
no
people
rules
are just
anymore.
like in the street, just getting drunk on like a Tuesday. And every part of me is like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Dude, there's
it's like New
zero
Orleans.
rules. Yeah, I was driving around today, and I swear to God, I was looking at everybody who was on bikes and like with their families and stuff, and nobody's wearing masks. People are over it, bro. People are out of supplies. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's
exhausting.
pretty scary how, if you think about it, you know, how a virus can cause all this shit like this. You know, I don't know. For me, it really puts things into perspective a little
It
bit.
does,
like how,
bro.
You
It put
know,
life is very fragile.
It is.
And we really need to realize how quickly things can change.
Absolutely, man.
We're
Absolutely.
too comfortable with our lives right now, and we're not. Although it's not good to live a life of fear, at the same part, you have to be weary of things that could I've realized I'm not built for this shit at all. Like I realized
We could have told you that.
I need to be significantly more self-sufficient, and I'm already trying to improve on that stuff. Just about my whole life, everything. But
I'd love to see you make a
saying.
change.
I feel like I'd be the first person dead in a fucking apocalypse. Like if this shit really hit the fan,
Yeah.
I can't run. I got no cardio. You ever watch fucking what's that movie? What's number one rules cardio?
Double tap.
Zombieland. Yeah, Zombieland. The number one rule is cardio.
Cardio.
I'm not running away from anybody. It's just I'm not built for the apocalypse.
What do you think about these? What do you think about these doomsday preppers? Do you think that they had a leg up with this shit? Like right now, with what's going on?
No, I don't really. I think that they're over. See, here's my thing: is like I appreciate people who look at things like that, and I don't know, like they're ready for something if it does happen. But some of them are over the top. There's a fine line of over the top.
You know what? They're not looking so crazy these days.
They're not.
Man,
And that's the whole thing.
Your bunker over this.
No.
I'm gonna take another shot. Fuck waiting.
Damn.
What?
I'm gonna take another shot. I don't want to wait.
Okay.
No, you know what?
You know, I think
I've realized through all this though is how much I rely on social interaction with strangers to boost my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even small things, I have a local coffee shop that I go into, and just the same two people are working there every day. So you chat with them for a couple minutes, and then you go down the block and you see the same person walking by at the same time every day, and you're like, those little social interactions I feel like are such a huge part of just keeping you a little bit uplifted. And now everyone is in a mask, and it's
it's weird, man. It
weird.
really does.
Can I tell you, I just remember years ago making fun of people who wore masks, and now I won't leave my fucking house without a mask.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a true story. I remember that too, actually. Looking, even when I went to Japan not too long, a couple of years ago, and there was no pandemic or anything going on, but that's just the norm. People, if you're sick, if you have a cold, personally, they will just put a mask on to go outside.
It's a respectful thing, and it's a nice thing.
Right. And I just said that. I was just talking about that the other day. I regret all those years of being why the fuck is this person next to me wearing a mask? This is making me nervous.
You're not the only one. Everybody was doing that.
Dude,
they're protecting you. That's the greatest thing. Somebody wearing a mask is thoughtful of other people.
Exactly. And that's such a crazy dynamic to come to realization with.
Yeah. It's just I'm having a tough time looking at people who drive in a car with a mask on. I'm like, what are you wearing the mask for in the car with nobody else around you? Right. But then I see people with no masks, and I'd rather the overprotective person than the person who doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Well, and you know
absolutely.
what, Chick, you wear glasses, so you'll get this too. Like, I can't wear the mask with my glasses at the same time.
Well, could I tell you something?
Yeah.
You got to deal with it, bro. I listen. It sucks.
No, I'm not
I
as
was in
blind as
the
you, I don't
supermarket
think.
the other
So,
day,
like, I
and I
can
wanted
see
to kill
without them,
somebody.
but
No, I wanted to kill somebody because of the fog. I literally was in the supermarket, and it was making me angry because I kept on fogging up my glasses.
Is that
And
what
it's a-
happens? It comes back
so, like,
in
you're
fog?
breathing out and it's coming out the top into your
Coming right,
glass.
and it's getting like caught in here.
Oh, okay.
And there's no way around it. It's any mask with anybody who wears glasses. So all my people out there who wear glasses, we all feeling that pain. And there's no way around it.
Dude,
You
and
can't
the
make a
second my
mask.
optometrist opens, I'm getting contact.
But is that the answer? I feel like more stuff can get caught in my eye. I like the glasses as protection. To me, it's another form of PPE.
I was thinking of that, but if I can't
Who
see-
wants to tell you? Who wants to drink with me?
I'm drinking.
Okay.
all right,
Salud.
Cheers.
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 But like, if
Yeah.
I can't see, I'd rather be able to see. You know, like,
I didn't even think about with the mask and the glasses because
Because
Yeah,
you don't have
it-
glasses.
it shoots right up into your glasses and it fogs. It's a real issue.
Yeah.
It's and it is a, I'm not even joking. It sounds silly and people are gonna laugh, but it is a real issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
if
you
can't
also don't
see,
want to
you're-
keep
you're
on.
fucked.
Yeah, you don't want to keep taking the mask off, or you don't want
touching
to.
your face and shit.
Yeah, you don't want to have to clean your glass. Like it's annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
something
get,
that
I get it. I get it with sunglasses, like, cause I agree. I'm with you. Like, I like to cover my eyes too if I can when I go out for like.
Is that
an extra
because you're too
protection.
famous?
No.
I was just gonna say. You try to compare you
He's like,
looking
I gotta
good
cover
with
up.
sunglasses because you don't
No.
want
Never know who's
me
gonna
to
see me.
I can't see without.
Bullshit. And over here right now, no one gives a fuck who's walking. Jim Carrey can walk down the street and they wouldn't give a fuck. No,
No,
wear
if I
gla-
was you,
wear-
I would never want to I would never want to cover that face up.
Can
I'd
I
be
ask you an
pissed.
honest question,
Come on.
Lou? Here's what happens. The honesty comes out when I'm drinking.
Okay.
What level celebrity do you consider yourself?
Ooh.
In a letter. You know how there's A-list, B-list? Now, you're a very humble dude, and I respect that. A little bit of
Like,
you's got to feel good. Like, what letter do you think?
Honestly, I consider myself like F. I don't know, man.
See,
Very
that's what
low.
I think you're being too modest. I would say C-list to B-list.
Dude, that's like major. That's huge. Like, I don't get like it's. I first of all, I appreciate that, but I feel like I don't get like I feel like if B, you're getting recognized a lot more.
Get
Then I
out of
would.
here.
Do you get
A
recognized
B?
a lot, honestly?
At a
Like,
B?
do you honestly get recognized?
You're a heavy B. Come on.
I don't
But I
know.
agree with
Maybe
him. No, listen, I'm not, and I get him. He's in a niche industry, so
I
it's
guess
right.
so.
the people who
I get it,
follow him
yes.
know. But like an adult lady is not going to know new politics.
no,
Wait,
no.
so
If I
how
go,
about, like, a city that you're playing in that night.
yeah,
That-
that's different.
yeah, that's
that's
what you got.
different. That's different. There's been a few times on the subway where I've people have called me out, which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. It's the best feeling of my fucking life. It was awesome.
I
You know,
don't
being in New
disagree
York
with you.
and-
I
yeah,
agree
it
with
was
you,
great.
but
It was awesome. But not as much as you think. Like, especially in New York, not a lot. LA, yes. For some reason, Los Angeles loves new politics. They always have. So that's a place where we get recognized a lot. New York, not as much. But yes, if we're playing the show, then it's of course.
See, I
but-
feel like the letter would depend. Not that the letter means anything, but I think the Oh, I did my in-between shot. Now I'm ready for another one. See, the great thing about it is I think that it depends on the age of who he's like, the
Yeah.
generation of the people who are listening. Like, he's a higher celebrity with, I don't know, the age group or whatever, of people who were born X amount, whatever.
Now,
right,
Lou,
like
when somebody recognizes you on the subway, are they like you're in that band New Politics, or is it like, are you that guy that was on the Adult Babies that one time? Which
definitely
one
the
is it?
adult
And be
baby.
honest.
It's the adult baby show.
Yeah, I
one.
figured
I've
that.
found-
Got it.
always, all the time.
We're bringing your rating up.
Dude.
Oh, this
You know
brown-
what?
yeah,
Can I
love
tell
it.
you something that made me feel great about us? Is when
Hmm.
Lou was on his his Instagram live, one of his fans had actually wrote, because I had said, when you coming back on the show, and he acknowledged me because he's a nice fella. And
I would never not acknowledge you. Come on, bro.
well, you know what? You got a lot of people on there. Sometimes I feel like it's more for the fans than somebody who knows you, who's just, Oh, wow, dude, I'm on this bit.
Wow, look at that shit.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a lot to begin with, but whatever. It's enough for one last shot.
Okay.
And somebody has said, I remember you on that show. And that made me
somebody
feel
said that?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No,
That's
I
good.
tell you things like that, like the fact that that's why I said his fans listened and remembered our dumb podcast because he was on it. And it made me feel good.
Our fans are the best, and I'm not just saying this like, just to whatever, but our fans, New Politics fans, are the fucking best fans in the world, man. They will follow and listen and really thoroughly love, they're not just, they're there to hear and take stuff in, which has been great. And we've been blessed with that ever since the beginning. I don't know if it's because of the bands we've toured with or the artists that have like endorsed us or, whatever it was. But
I think it's a mix of everything. I think you guys are likable guys, because even your bandmates who I don't know, and maybe one day we'll be lucky enough we can get all of you guys on. I don't know if
Zoom. Hell yeah. They would love to come on.
Would they? That would be, dude. I would have them all on in a second. But
you gotta get past their European humor, which is so fucking horrible. It is
no, it's not.
Awful.
Can I tell you one of my guilty pleasures is BBC TV, and I'm a big fan of. I watch a lot of international stuff. Not that they're English. I don't know what they are.
I watch Euronews every morning, man. I'm riding that boat.
Yeah,
but I think they're very relatable. The music's good, and I think it's easy to follow people who are like, who are like, when I see you guys, I was actually talking about you to a mutual friend of ours who hasn't seen you, and I told him you were coming on the show, and I was like, the funniest thing is, I go, you would never know what he does because he's still the same person. It hasn't changed you at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think that comes off with everything. So I do think a lot of people, I think that's why you have the fans that you have, is because you're very relatable.
Yeah, and I think that comes from just being, genuinely just loving what you do. Well, and whatever that is, whatever field that you're in, like
I'm still trying to find myself, Lou. I get it.
I don't know, dude. It's all good, man. I mean,
I heard Domino's is hiring.
Domino's. The only jobs I'm getting offered now is shit that's on the fucking front line. Like, I'm gonna go. Listen,
I bet delivery jobs are hiring a lot right now.
I would.
Yeah,
I don't want to take a job that's temporary, and I don't want to take a job on the front lines because of my smoking and all that. Which brings me to my next point. Did anybody read the article that they're trying to say now that nicotine is a preventative, like it helps prevent corona?
Yes,
I didn't hear that.
Really?
That sounds like one of those articles that only makes its way to smokers.
No. They weren't recommending it because it was a catch-22. It was like, nicotine, they think, may help prevent it, but if you
was
get
it nicotine or cigarettes? Because they're very different.
No, nicotine. And they were saying they were surprised that there wasn't as many smokers who were coming down with COVID, and they were thinking it was because of the nicotine in it. So they were saying the problem is, though, if you do get it, even, now you're at a higher risk because you smoke. So it's a catch. They're not telling people to smoke, but they were saying, like, ironically, they were thinking nicotine itself may be some sort of a preventable measure in corona, which made me feel good, but then it made me feel even worse because I'm like, if I do get it, though, I'm fucked. Like, I got to quit. I can't not quit. I don't need to hear anything positive about nicotine and cigarettes.
I think you'll be okay if you quit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, quitting is the ultimate goal, but if they tell me that you can't get corona, that's like, wow, I'm going to smoke until the end of quarantine.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you're going to smoke to the end of quarantine no matter what.
No, yeah, don't judge me when I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm doing it for my safety. My short-term health, not long-term, but my short-term health is going to be fixed by the cigarettes. Who's going to take a shot?
It fights corona. Look it up.
Salud. Chris, there you go. Ooh, that was tough, that one.
Something almost happened.
No.
Something come back.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm all right. I bounced back good.
All right, good. Chick,
What? It
This is
sounds
fun.
like
I like you. I like you having a few shots during this.
Can I tell you this is the only way I could drink? And right now, like you were asking me,
But if Lou asks you,
I'm a little drunk right now, and I feel fantastic. But
This is what you said the last time, man. This is what you said when after the prosecco.
Lou, apparently you bring out the best in me.
I love that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna hold on to that.
Positivity and the good vibes. It makes me want to drink and have a good time.
Good.
But Lou's also, that's why I love that he got me involved in the cards, because now I'm talking to people in high school that I was always friends with or friendly with, but I never hung out with them a ton. And now I'm like, you know, with Jimmy and Charms and a couple of his other people. Now I'm playing cards with these guys in the quarantine.
Yeah.
And I would never be hanging out with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad, and I hope after quarantine, maybe, you know, we all go out and see each other and stuff. But
absolutely.
There's been some pluses to the quarantine, I'm finding.
I agree, man, because it's easier to, even though it sucks this is weird, you know, not that this sucks, but this is weird. It's a different way of hanging out with people.
Yeah.
But it also makes it a lot easier, you know, accessible. So, you know, like, and that's cool.
It's like
and
the
I
weirdest
love that you
thing.
said that, man.
Because it's true. Like, calling somebody and reaching out to somebody that you haven't seen in a while and getting together is not necessarily easy. No. But when you're all stuck at home and it's just a matter of logging into something and you could communicate and through that, it's so much easier. So now that everybody is stuck home, I really do find myself reaching out to people that I haven't reached out with in a while, and you hope it continues. Right. Whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, you know, you never know what's going to happen. But like that part, like, and it all starts from one little stupid, not even stupid, but like, you know, you go on Instagram Live, we spark a conversation, then it leads to this, to that. And, you know, like even somebody, you know, you were talking to Nick the other day, like, not that anybody, but it's just like a weird how things roll into place through. Like, that's the beauty of social media as much as it sucks too.
Right. And I love that, man. I really love that because it's so funny. I was thinking the same shit to myself the other day. It's the acquaintances, people that we spent so much time together in high school and school and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just being in the same vicinity together. And it takes same
experiences, exactly.
Yeah, same experiences, and it takes one little thing like that to, you know, the fucking poker club to bring everybody and adult babies to bring everybody together again. You know, so it's
adult babies
cool,
brings
man.
people together.
I think
that's the new slogan.
And that's why, as much as people bash the internet and all these social media platforms, if it wasn't for some of these platforms, I probably wouldn't have reached back out to Lou, or who knows if we would have ever gotten in touch and you know, rekindled a friendship, so to speak, that hasn't, you know, you haven't seen in so. There's a lot of good things to come from not even the quarantine, just social media, and the quarantine, in my opinion, brings it out because now families can FaceTime and do all this other stuff to still socialize that we were bashing before, that people kind of hung on. You know, I guess they use it as a crutch almost. It's that fine line of where something is useful to where it's bad. You know, it's just a fine line, and there's a lot of pros and cons, and thank God we're in the age that we are in. Imagine this quarantine happening 30 years ago.
Oh, no, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, it would be brutal.
Think about before instant
no contact.
You can't contact anybody. You don't even have a cell phone. You got to call the house phone. So only one person can talk at a time. So if your mother's on the phone with your aunt, you're not talking to your friend.
No, that's just lonely, man. Yeah.
Like, think about it.
Right. Yeah.
Like we're almost lucky to be caught in the quarantine, at least in a technologically standpoint of where we're able to communicate with each other still.
You know what else is pretty crazy? I think that I read a fact that our generation, like whatever, I don't know what you call X, Y, whatever the generation we are.
When people call us millennials, Lou, it makes me mad. So fuck that.
We're not really considered millennials though, right?
We're like the beginning of the millennials, but we're not really millennials.
Okay, so what people say though about our generation is that we're like one of the first generations to witness both. Like what you just said. Like I remember only having a house phone, and not having a cell phone, you know, and fucking. Then we went from that to like having pagers and beepers. Then it was, you know, big giant cell phone. Like, but we like the generations after us, like they don't fucking know what that's like to have.
And you know what?
have-
And they said I read an article once that said our generation is one of the luckiest generations because we grew up in a time where not everything was at your fingertips and you had to use your imagination and your creativity and go out, and everybody, you know, you couldn't just talk to all your, like you had, listen, let's say your sister's on the house phone and you want to talk to your friend and now they can't get through because your sister's on and she's putting the FU button every time the call waiting's going on. Like that shit was real. Oh, that shit was a real thing back.
We grew up, we were kids like before all that, so we were able to, you know, figure it. I agree. I think it's I'm very grateful for that.
And I think I'm done knocking on like that generation where I feel like, cause you know what, there's things that they are much better at than we are. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And you can't fault people for growing up in the time they grow up in. So like I'm past that where it's like, oh, fuck the millennials. You know, even though you don't agree with them.
Like you're talking about like Generation Z.
Yeah, but whatever it is, you know, people, to me, but like your generation is drastically different from what I grew up in because you didn't have Discmans and things.
So technically,
last episode we were talking about, do you remember when you were younger having to ride your bike around and if you wanted to listen to music, you had to pick a CD that you liked from front to back and then you'd throw it in your pocket. It takes up your whole pocket. And half the time you're riding your bike or you go over a bump, the shit skips. It falls out. It's just fucking annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's funny though. Like I feel like the generational talk is kind of stupid because technically we're in the same generation.
Like, I agree with you.
You guys are the first millennials, and I'm the last year of millennials.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in the same generation, but we have completely different experiences.
Completely different. You're right.
It's just that's why I find it funny. And like, as much as we are considered millennials, and honestly, I used to make fun of millennials, and I don't even consider it a knock anymore. But I don't consider us. I feel like we're part millennials because we did have all that. Like, as we were later in high school, we had a lot of this technology, or we were still young enough to grasp the technology as it came. But like growing up, I remember taking a keyboard class. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like typing.
Yeah, like
JKL semicolon, baby. I know it.
I mean, I remember being up until 9th or 10th grade begging my parents for a fucking beeper. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't a cell phone.
My 5-year-old sister messages me on Facebook.
That's crazy, man.
That's nuts.
My Emily, my wife, all her nieces and nephews, they're kids, and they all have, like kids, and they have cell phones. They have phones. You know, not like they can't like, you know, pick up and call, but they know what an iPhone is. You know, they know what the device is.
Dude, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, man. And how parents, you know.
Do you imagine your parents arguing with one of your teachers who says, I want to take their cell phone away, but the parents are telling the teachers that they need the kids to have the cell phone just in case they need to get in touch with them? What happened to calling the office and getting called down to the office?
Different time, though. It's a different time.
It is. It's a very different time.
It's a different time, though.
But like, the kids don't need the cell phone. Is my point. Like we did.
Yeah, but
kids don't need it.
With all the, I hate to say it, there's a lot of school shootings these days. Like I would want to be in touch with my kid.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Yeah, that's also a change in parenting.
But you know what? At the extent to where these kids are using the phone so much, where these teachers can't get through to them.
Yeah, well, of course.
There's got to be a fine line. It's got to be like the teacher takes the phone, right? And every call,
like,
then she almost gets to screen it. And I get it. You don't want her knowing your business, but like, oh, your mom's calling you. This is important.
If you had an iPhone, though, like in your 12th grade class, like you wouldn't use the shit out of it. Like I remember I watched the finale of The Office in my 12th grade CAD class.
Jeez.
Well, that's the thing. You give me you give any kid,
Dude, I had the sickest phone case. Side note, my phone case had a kickstand that it would kick out and I could watch a show in school. It was sick.
That's
dude. I'm almost scared of what high school.
I used to pass notes. I'd pass notes to people.
That's insane.
Yeah, man.
Think about
Do you
that.
guys remember? Do you remember Pogs? Do you remember Pogs?
Of course.
Yes, Pog.
Glamours.
That's what got banned in all. I
Yes,
think it was
you're
out.
right.
Was it out?
Yeah.
Was it out?
Look, do you
Or
remember
Yes, it was.
yo-yos? Do you guys remember in high school
It
when
definitely
one year
was.
everybody was walking around with yo-yos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
double butterflies
yo-yo
and like
phase,
you
the
know,
Pog phase.
Everybody was a yo-yo connoisseur. Anybody who's
I-
listening to this show who was in high school, and I guess it was like 2000, it was
Yeah.
one year, no matter what grade you were in, everybody was walking the dog in fucking high school with their
Yeah.
yo-yos.
Everybody was
was
going
like-
around the world walking the dog in like 96 for some
Dude,
reason.
that's like a cartoon.
It was like dance
Dude.
contest. It was
Yeah.
like a contest with the yo-yo skills.
Yep.
Right. Like, how did that happen? How did that?
Somebody, it's unbelievable how that happened. It was 1 year. It was in and out 1 year. It was gone.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
2
It was
years
literally.
maximum.
I'll never forget. It was like 1 year. I don't know if I was in 10th grade. I feel like so. Like, I don't know, but I remember 1 year everybody had yo-yos, and it was like, what the fuck?
If you didn't
Everybody
have
was.
a yo-yo, what were you doing with your life for those 2 years? Everybody had it. I remember asking my parents, I'm like, I'm going to need a yo-yo now. Everybody has it. They looked at me like I'm crazy. But
That's
I had a
not
yo-yo,
right.
you know, and I'm walking around. I'm like, yeah, and we all, everybody was an expert immediately for some reason. Like,
Yeah.
everybody, like you were saying,
like
walk
Eiffel
the
Tower
dog. Yeah,
trick.
they were doing these things like they were
Yes,
nobody,
dude. It was like walking the dog. It was letting it
around the world, walking the dog, whatever the.
Then it was like the still when you would let it hang for a little and then bring it back up like a
Yeah.
fucking ollie or some shit.
It was
Like
sleep.
you know
It
what I
was
mean? Like
You
nuts.
put it to sleep.
Yeah, you put it to sleep.
Put
Yes,
it to sleep.
you put it to sleep. See, Chris, listen, I get it. Yo-yos were always around, but for whatever 1 year in like 99 or 2000, it was a huge thing in Farmingdale.
Dude, I don't get it. They're yo-yo.
No, zero
That was
rhyme
a
or reason
weekend.
to it.
Was 98 the year of the Rubik's Cube, man? What were you guys like?
No, that was early.
No.
That was early. It just made it. By the way, here you want to hear a weird story with yo-yos? So
Yeah,
there's
it's
a guy, and he's young. Chris, he's probably your age. He's a comedian that I know, a Long Island guy. I would love to get him on the podcast, actually. And you could look him up. Whatever. I don't know if.
Give his name. Is he the guy I'm thinking of who has like the props?
No. I don't think you've met him. He's a Long Island comic, and he's a yo-yo champion.
Wow.
He's traveled to Japan, to Europe, and he's widely known. Like, and you look, and sometimes he'll start his setup, and he mixes it with like a DJ will do the song. His name is Andrew, and it's really interesting. And he's young, so I don't know where he figured this out, but he's on Wikipedia as like a 2-time world champion yo-yo guy. I would love. His name is Andrew Bergen. Look him up.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
That's
sick.
But yeah, no, he makes income off of it, I think. But he's a
Right,
yo-yo
right.
champion, and he's 20-something years old. So the yo-yos did stick around, and I don't know where the hell it came from with us though.
I know it just came out of nowhere.
It came.
I'm
It's
just
like
so happy Lou remembers it too because that was a thing, right? I'm not crazy. There
Oh,
was a
no,
year-
dude, it was very much a thing. That was the thing. I remember, for some reason, I remember mini disc players were a thing. Like a lot of people had mini disc
Yes.
players.
Yes.
That was huge. Breakdancing was a fucking thing, even though it was like huge in '81. Like, and all of a sudden, it's not
That's
like,
I feel like there was a lot of retro things in our high school that were like brought back from the 80s almost. As far as
Yeah.
breakdance, yo-yos been around forever.
There was a whole,
Right.
as far as breakdancing went, there was a whole corner of Farmingdale High School, like during lunch, that would just breakdance.
yeah, legit,
they
like
would-
in the
they would-
comments, like.
They would stick mouse pads to the top of their hats.
It
and
was the
pretend-
135 crew. You remember the 135? They named
Yeah.
themselves after the LIE.
Like, my God.
It
I can
happened,
make
man.
break
This was a thing, dude. This was a thing, and it was crazy. It was wild. It's wild to think about.
This is why I love bringing back people who went to Farmingdale High School during our time because there's so many things that we could reminisce about, and majority of our listeners are going through the same thing, and they remember all this shit, and they're probably laughing because it's all the same shit.
Yeah, it really did happen. It was a real life thing.
It
All of
was a
them.
real life thing. But you know what's
But, yeah.
funny? It brings me to, which I do want to do some picks today, because I do have some good stuff that I watched this week. And one of them is a Long Island themed. Do you guys remember the Roslyn embezzlement scheme?
I
I
just
just
heard about
watched
this
this last
today.
night.
Wait,
What'd you
what?
say?
Roslyn?
I just heard about this today. Yeah.
So Lou, right after we graduated in 2002 in Roslyn, the superintendent,
The superintendent.
the superintendent embezzled $11.2 million and was
Wow.
spending it all on himself. And there was a couple other people who were capitalizing off this as well. But there's HBO just did a movie on it. For whatever reason, it's in the documentary section. That's neither here nor there. It's a movie, and it's called Bad Education with who was Wolverine? Hugh Jackman is the
Oh,
main
shit.
character.
Oh,
And
so it's not a documentary. It's a movie.
no,
then.
it's not. It's a movie about a true
Yeah.
story.
But it's based off a true story.
And dude, it's hysterical. It's well done. Hugh Jackman looks nothing like the guy who did it, but it's a great story. They nail Long Island, like the accents
Oh,
is like anybody who grew up in Long Island. Farmingdale gets mentioned. Islip, like a lot of towns get mentioned in it.
right.
It's a great movie. I highly recommend it to anybody.
I'll
It's
definitely
called,
watch.
yeah, it's called Bad Education, and it's on HBO.
Sweet.
The other movie I didn't think I was gonna like, but it was actually very good with Chris Hemsworth. Extraction, the new one on Netflix.
I heard that was good too. Yeah.
Dude, they like no time for bullshit. They did great camera work with like the fight scenes. I loved how they filmed it. Like I said, there was no bullshit, no corny action or jokes. Like they got right into the story. It was nonstop action the whole time, and it was a very good movie. And then the last one, I'm trying to get my mother to watch this as well, because I think even if you hate pot and you whatever, it's called Cooked with Cannabis.
Mhm.
And it's a cooking show. It's like a
Oh, I
competition.
saw that.
Dude, it was so good. These people cook, like they teach you how to micro dose people with marijuana when you're feeding somebody for like 3 courses. So these people don't get like fucked up right off the bat and they can't control themselves. They use CBD and THC in their meals, and they're allowed max 8 milligrams of THC per order, like per meal.
Nice.
It's just really cool because these people are making gourmet shit, and they have celebrities come on, and they're all eating it, and you'd be surprised at some of the celebrities they have on that are like eating pot. And it was a good show.
I'll check that out. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so those are my 3 shows: Bad Education on HBO, Cooked with Cannabis on Netflix, and Extraction on Netflix was very good.
Okay. Bad Education I watched last night. I really enjoyed it.
That sounds
Right?
really
Wasn't
good.
it really well written?
By the way, they drop Farmingdale in it. Farmingdale gets a shout out.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it now.
They went to Ace Hardware. When they're talking about the Ace Hardwares, they talk about the Farmingdale and Islip one being sold out as well as some shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yo, B, how great were the accents and like they nailed Long Island.
Allison Janney plays a Long Island woman.
You know, middle-aged woman from Long Island, and she nails it. She is absolutely phenomenal in it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I love it.
So
I gotta watch
I feel
it.
like anybody who lives in Long Island is gonna love it. So I mean, it was a good movie too, and like the humor, the comedy in it was done well. Like it wasn't corny.
I'll
But
check it out.
yeah, my 3 picks. I'm fucking kind of drunk, to be honest with you guys. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Hey.
are.
You get what, 5 shots?
I don't know, 5 or 6 shots. I don't know. I took the one in between, so I think it's 6. 6 shots
One
and
in
2
between.
joints because I huffed down 2 joints and a bunch of cigarettes. This is the problem. When I'm drunk, I have no like stop button on smoking. I just chain smoke everything.
Yeah,
I'm fucked the rest of this night now. I'm gonna smoke
a lot of people that smoke are like that for some reason. Drinking brings out the smoking in people.
because it's so good once it touches your lips.
What's a
Does
touch
it,
slip?
Chick, do you still get any sort of like lightheadedness after? You don't, right? That shit goes away like from smoking like a cigarette. Like, did you still get lightheaded?
Oh, no, not. You know what? The only time I'll get lightheaded off a cigarette is if I wake up and I huff one down quick. You get a little lightheaded.
And you still get a little lightheaded?
Yeah, but not very, very rarely does that happen. Or if I smoke a cigarette other than mine, like my brand, which
Right.
I'm a bougie fucking cigarette smoker. I almost won't smoke somebody's cigarette if it's not a Parliament.
Right.
Oh,
Only Parliament.
Yeah, only Parliament. But when I'm in a jam, which is very rarely with cigarettes now these days, but I'll smoke like if someone gives you a Newport and you smoke that shit pretty quick, you'll fucking be lightheaded.
You'll fucking be lifted. Yeah.
I'll never forget. That reminds me, when we were younger, we used to steal cigarettes from the gas station around the block from my house, or my other buddy's house, actually.
Yeah.
And we used to steal Durals because they were the only ones in arm's reach. And we used to smoke
Corral.
things. And we used to smoke them like they were fucking joints. I'll never forget. I used to be lightheaded all the time when I smoked cigarettes when I was younger.
I know. Anytime sometimes I'll smoke cigars, and if I inhale too much, like, you know, if I'll just take too much, I'm spinning, dude, off of that. Like, I can't
Dude,
imagine.
it's fucked up, right? When you when you
Yeah.
get lightheaded off a cigarette or even a cigar, if you inhale it like on accident,
Yeah,
I mean,
by
you can't help
accident,
but
yeah.
inhale a cigar a little bit, but like, you know.
Right. It fucks me up. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, that's it. I'm like, I gotta walk away.
Do you enjoy cigars a lot? Do you smoke cigars?
I do. Recently, I've been like, it's been a new thing for me now, and I think it's because me and my friend, fucking Charms, he introduced me. Another one introduced me to this shit.
I'm not
He took me to-
surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
He took me to a cigar bar in this fancy place in the city, and I loved it. It was a cool vibe. It was very like, you know, leather chairs, like
I think that's the thing with cigars. It's the whole vibe of smoking them.
Yeah, right. You're just sitting there and you're smoking, and it was cool. I liked it. I came
Going to
home
a
and I
cigar
smelled
bar
like
is nice.
yeah, it was nice.
I'm saying
Yeah.
It was
before
very
Nikki
nice.
Gallo's wedding, whatever, it is what it is. Before Nikki's wedding, we went to a cigar bar like the day before, and we all hung out and smoked a cigar, and it was nice.
Yeah, it's just a
it's
chill.
nice.
It's like a cool, and that kind of got me into it. But like, by all means, I'm not like a connoisseur. I don't know what the fuck I'm buying.
No, I hear you. I'm the same way. I'm just like you. When I quit cigarettes for 1 year, I got heavily into cigars. That's why I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, I quit cigarettes, but I picked up a cigar habit.
I love there's always smoke coming into your lungs
Yeah, right.
or into your mouth.
Well, in defense, in cigars, you don't really inhale.
Yeah,
but
I know. You don't.
You get
but it's
throat
always
Still,
cancer.
though, it's like
You always need to be.
Yeah.
There always needs to be a fire on a stick at the end of your mouth.
I think I've realized that's part of my OCD is that I have like an oral fixation.
Yeah.
Listen,
okay.
I'm a pleaser in the bed too. It's just an oral thing with me.
Ugh.
Oh wow.
What do you mean? Oh wow! What are you
I
guys?
don't know. It's good.
What are you? 10 years old? Like,
No,
come on!
just-
We can't
I
talk
didn't
about
put the
adults.
time in that.
He's drunk. That's what's going on.
I'm just saying. I'm a giver. I have an
It
oral
just came out of
fixation. with
nowhere.
things.
Like I have an oral fixation.
Well, that's my point. I like having things in my mouth.
All right, man. Look, you got to take this guy on tour with you. You want to go backstage?
You guys. You guys
All right.
are
Well,
always
listen,
always welcome.
guys, this has been a great night.
For sure.
Lou, thank you so much for coming on.
You could, yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. Please.
We
It was a
do
lot of
appreciate
fun.
you on
Is there-
2 times too. It's a beautiful thing, Lou. We love you,
Yeah, we really
You guys.
appreciate you coming back, man.
and we
thank
wish you
you,
guys
thank
the
you
best
very
of
much.
luck. This
The
is
album-
definitely a hard time for a band because of the whole quarantining shit and the social distancing. So we wish you the best of luck. We hope you guys come out stronger at the end, and we look forward to whatever you guys release. I
Yeah.
suggest
Thank you.
everybody gets the new album. Well, I mean, do you consider it new still?
Yeah, it's.
The latest.
I mean, no, not really. It's yeah.
It's an
I mean, you can
invitation
still check
to
it
an
out.
alternate reality, new politics. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Therapy, like I said, was my favorite song on it. Maybe because I still go to therapy. I don't know. But it was a great song.
Dude, I was going to therapy too up until the quarantine. I was going and I stopped it.
It's a
Oh,
beautiful
stop
thing.
it?
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
My therapist is now basically we're on we talk about quarantine, so he's just stealing money from me if you think about it.
Right. So that's the main topic. I was a really quick, and I know we're trying to wrap up, but I was a non-believer for a little while. I didn't really understand the like, I guess, the medicine aspect of it, but
Yeah,
it really was a great thing. It was a great thing. I thoroughly enjoyed it before.
to talk to somebody who's an unbiased individual, I think everybody could use that, because
Absolutely.
talking to your friends and family, they can't help but say certain things and give you certain advice, and it's coming from a different place than somebody who's not involved at all with you.
Yeah.
Can give you
100%.
advice. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been
It's a
doing
good thing.
virtual therapy, and I'm not gonna lie, I want to keep doing it, because to me, I enjoy talking to somebody. But yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, at this point, we're just talking about quarantining. We're not really doing anything, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. Kind of tough to do the therapy thing.
Right.
But yeah, I could talk
Thank you,
forever.
guys.
Feeling fucking great. But Lou, maybe I'll see you on a card game tonight.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
if you made it this
Lou,
far,
thanks for
stay
coming on, man.
healthy, be safe. Thanks for listening. And
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I got to
Thank you,
drink more.
everybody.
Joe.